Hey guys, today I'm going to talk about my top 5 anticipated games for 2014. Alright, we're going to start off with number 1, Elder Scrolls Online. If none of you have ever played an Elder Scrolls game, well, where have you been? Taking place in a medieval fantasy world in Divide, the Elder Scrolls series is filled with rich lore all its own. Each game taking place within its own timeline and within unique locales. The game maps are absolutely huge, giving the character you individually make a great exploration adventure all on its own, not including the great combat system. You have demons, dragons, vampires, werewolves, elves, orcs, humans, and cat people. Which, by the way, I like the cat people, because you're awesome. And every single character has a unique experience. And you're gonna have fun just running off and doing your own thing. Now, Elder Scrolls Online, they're trying to make it so that everybody ends up with a unique experience all their own, and they're trying to make it so that you can either completely go at it all on your own, or if you want to, you can grow up with people, and your attacks are going to sync with each other. So let's say a thief makes it so that there's a oil slick. Well, you, the mage, can then send a fireball at the oil slick and light it on fire, setting your enemies on fire. So you're working together. That's a really cool concept. We've seen it a couple times, but it's never really been hugely successful. So I look forward to seeing if that remains successful and if the overall system for stealing and sneaking around, if that remains pure to the Elder Scrolls series. Okay, number 2, Dragon Age Inquisition. Now, if any of you have ever played Dragon Age Origins, then you know how fabulous it was. It was a huge game with interesting characters, really, really funny jokes, really great character dynamic, interesting story that put you in the center, but didn't make you the main thing. I mean, you were a part of it, but only because you were the last of 2 Grey Wardens. And so it made it so you had to make these decisions, because you were somebody in this world. But you weren't royalty. Well, you could be, but initially you end up just being one of the Grey Wardens. So that is awesome. It was an amazing game, and I loved the expansion. I mean, it wasn't as good, but then Dragon Age 2 came out. Yeah, if any of you played Dragon Age 2, it sucked. Like, really sucked. They rushed it so quickly that, the whole design of it was off. You ended up feeling like there was just a bunch of blank space. Instead of making this whole huge map, they made it so everything was compressed into one city with a few outside locations. It felt empty. Your characters were very dry, they weren't nearly as fun, and I didn't feel like anything I did really mattered. Because in the end, no matter what selection you made, and spoiler alert, because it's been a while now, no matter what choice you made, the mages still ended up looking like the bad guys in the end. So that sucked. Hopefully, with as much time as they put into Dragon Age Inquisition already, hopefully this will be a great game. Instead of it focusing on one country or one town, they are switching it up and making it so that you're focusing on a huge world. So hopefully you're going to get to see the Kunari, you're going to get to see the illusions, you're going to get to see everybody. And I look forward to going to see Antiva, because in Origins they really do describe these places, and you'll want to see them. So here's hoping. Number 3, Bayonetta 2. Now, Bayonetta kind of has a bad name for itself, either from a lot of feminists who think that it is exploratory of women, or you just have people that say, well, it's a bad game. Me, on the other hand, I loved it. It was a femme fatale kicking ass and rocky. Definitely not for kids. She is, Bayonetta herself, she is overly sexual. She is, basically, it's the female version of Devil May Cry. If any of y'all have played that game, it's almost identical in the playing style and everything. You end up with really, really awesome moves. You feel like everything is fun. The music, at least, is varied from area to area. Beautiful, beautiful scenery. Really good theme song. Overall, it was a fun game. And you know what? Bayonetta 2 is looking like it's gonna be kick-ass. The reason it's number 3 on my list, however, instead of being my number 1 game, because I loved the first one so much, it's only available on the Wii U. Now, I'm fully ready to get my new PS4, and I'm fully ready, maybe, to get an Xbox One. But Wii U was one of those systems that I wasn't really looking forward to getting. When it comes out, if there are great reviews on it, this would probably be the game that would make me buy a Wii U just to play that game. So, we'll see. Number 4, Thief. Okay, y'all are probably thinking, wait a minute, Thief is an old game. It's a cult classic. Well, it is. And this game would have been in the same thing, except it would have been Thief 4, but they decided, you know what, why don't we go all out? We have the technology now. We are going to completely revamp Thief. So, this game is not exactly a guns blazing, run in and chop people up into itty bitty bits game. No. You're actually going to get in trouble for that in this game. What this game is designed for is you really do have to be sneaky. You have to take the time to solve the problem before you ever go in. You have to wait on perfect timing. You have to stick to the shadows and try not to be noticed. And that is a fun game, because you can really take your time and absorb everything. And it's not for everybody, but in my opinion, if it turns out well, I'm so gonna play the hell out of it. And number 5. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Okay, who's actually played The Witcher? The first Witcher game wasn't really huge on its initial release, as far as I know. I may be wrong about it. But I didn't hear about it until a couple of years after it was released, in which case I played it, and I loved it. Now, The Witcher 2 was an absolutely fantastic game. And I'm not going to actually spoil the story, but it follows Geralt of Rivia, and he's the protagonist, and he is kick-ass. And, I mean, it's a pretty dark RPG, and, I mean, it's not one of those RPGs where you really get to customize your own character. You are just playing him. But, in a way, that's a good thing, because you really do get to follow his story, and you get to see everything as it unfolds. And, like I said, I'm not going to give up too much about it, but if you've ever played Skyrim, which was part of the Elder Scrolls series, this game is actually said to be 20% bigger as far as the map goes than Skyrim was. And if you played Skyrim, you know how huge that map is. So it'll be interesting to see how much larger they've made that world and how much they've brought into it. Because you have all that lore, you have all those different places to explore. Everybody do the dinosaur. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. Okay guys, that was my top 5 video game picks for next year. Tell me what you think. Would you change them with other games? What are you looking forward to? Okay,